Stan, thank you very much for being here. Why not raise your profitability forecast if you are expecting higher revenues? What kind of costs are weighing on the business that would prevent that part of the guidance from being increased?
Yeah, hi, Courtney. Thank you for having me today. Yeah, look, when we look across the landscape and where we continue to perform, I think as we talked about, we certainly had an unexpected cancellation impact in this first quarter, despite being our third record-setting quarter across revenue and GOV and beating, consensus across every line, including the EBITDA line. That, $4 million impact to cancels, I think, was something that happened that really wasn't even COVID-oriented, right? We looked at just an anomaly in the industry driving a disproportionate cancellation impact. And so as we look at raising guidance through the rest of the year across all of the elements, I think us keeping our EBITDA in line really takes into account the headwind that we encountered in the first quarter.
Okay. And so are you expecting these cancellations, as you're mentioning, not necessarily COVID related? Are you expecting potential one-off cancellations to continue throughout the rest of the year as a possibility?
I think that's really a hard thing to forecast. Again, I can go back and just say what we saw in the first quarter with, really top acts in, the Foo Fighters with the really unfortunate death of their drummer, as well as Celine Dion and, Major League Baseball's lockout. All three of those things happening in one quarter we feel is an anomaly, but certainly can't really predict the future in terms of whether that'll be a regular occurrence.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's talk about what events are popular. Vivid Seats obviously offers tickets to a wide variety of different entertainment type of performances or sports events. What is most popular and what are ticket prices like? Are you seeing inflation in the prices of tickets just like we are in almost everything else?
Yeah, I think across the board we've seen great interest as I think folks really look to get, towards live events as they are, enjoying, experiencing moments together with their friends and their family. When you look at sports, we've seen a great interest in the first quarter. We had the best Super Bowl we've ever had. We've seen the strongest NCAA, both in the regular season with Coach K's final game at home, as well as the tournament itself, bringing in some of the highest demand that we've seen. You look more recently, just this past weekend, F1 in the sports category, triple what our 19 sales were over this past weekend again. And with ticket prices north of $3,500. So I think as you look at the market and certainly us as a marketplace that doesn't set prices and prices are really more of a reflection of the demand, I think demand continues to be really, really strong. And as you look at the concert side, a lot of great acts, Elton John, Lady Gaga, they're all out there touring. And certainly, I think as artists look to get back on the circuit, I think they're finding that consumers are just as excited to see them as they are to get out there and tour.
So there's been a lot of discussion about the consumer in the United States. Most of us believe the consumer has been strong. There's debate about whether or not the consumer will remain strong in the face of all the pressures that we're facing. Is your view that indeed consumer strength will continue to be present, especially when it comes to events like live sports or live performances that we've missed so much of in the last several years?
Yeah, I think, again, I look back to what we've seen, in our business where we've seen on average order size climbing at about 3%. We looked at this last quarter that we just put out, again, record-setting quarter, and average order size when compared to 2019 still up 12%, right? So I think that would tell us that there's still so much demand going on there. And the other stat that we look at, which I think is a great bullish indicator, again, how much are people willing to travel to events? And what we saw in our data is that consumers are really willing to travel almost more than 20 miles more than what they've done, in 19. So we see indicators, again, that live events remain a key area that I think consumers remain really excited to go to.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.